episode of the Monday Morning Learning Podcast. This is a special episode with Dr. Devika. Warm welcome, Devika.
Thank you.
Do you want to say any welcome words before I give you a short introduction to the audience?
Nothing much about me. I think you're going to say, yeah, probably whatever you miss, I think I'll cover it in my talk. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Dr. Devika has about 24 years of functional experience as therapist and researcher in the field of addiction and HIV. She founded Amrita Foundation Society, De-Addiction Cum Rehabilitation Center in 2009. Since then, she has been fulfilling the role of a de-addiction therapist and director of the organization. Currently, she is doing drug abuse prevention programs with the three Commissionerates of Hyderabad, Excise Department and NCB. She's been doing that since very long. She's internationally certified addiction professional, ICAP, global master trainer, class A trustee, Alcoholics Anonymous, resource person for Nasha Mukth Bharat campaign, committee member, Telangana State Legal Services, NALSA since 2016. She's also the global career counselor of GCC, University of California, and many, many more. So there's a long list, but this in short is Dr. Devika. So warm welcome to you again, Devika. There are 5 themes, just for my audience, and 5 themes that we're going to talk to Dr. Devika. The first one talks about substance use prevention in schools. We'll look at her insights on the impact of drugs on youth as theme 2. De-addiction cum rehabilitation programs that she does is theme 3. And relapse factors and intervention strategies is theme 4. And who has been the greatest influencers professionally and personally for Dr. Devika. These are the 5 themes. So I'll shoot the first question to you, Dr. Devika. The first one is, what are the top 5 life lessons you teach as part of your sensitization programs at the school level as such?
Yeah, whenever we are looking at adolescent children, or, our school program starts, for the grade 6 to 12. So whenever we reach out to the children, the first thing we will focus on life skills. So why? Because a lot of research in this area has been done, and we also have a lot of modules given by the ministry, like NISD, who does that capacity building of addiction professionals in our country. So here, what we have been, extensive research shows that why a child happened to get attracted to these kind of, substances. So if you just look into the underlying factors, the risk factors we look into it is like, one thing is the communication. There is a lot of gap, a lot of, between the relations between the educational professionals like teachers or the authoritative figures in the school, like, the kind of education we had. It was more value based, and it was like building a personality. It's not just providing information or knowledge to a child. So from that, kind of education system, we have moved into more of mostly academic oriented, where your focus is not in building up a character, but only just providing the information to the child, or necessary knowledge and grading system is also. So I think now again there is a shift of this system happening in our country again. But this is where we see that we need to fill a gap. We need to empower the child with certain skills required so that he can sustain in life, or kind of battle whatever his hardships, in future. So that is where we felt, even the central government has released life skills in CBSE curriculum. So here, the first and foremost, we focus on that. Not only that, during our sensitization programs, the child also need to understand, okay, when I consume this substance as a recreation or just for fun, what is going to have that impact on my body and mind? So this is what we call it as, understanding the damages to your, body, soul, mind, what is going to happen, because that becomes an informed choice to the child. Okay, if this is what is at stake for me, am I ready to take it even for a fun, even for the first time? So you provide that all the facts, and mythbusters also we do, because a lot of school children these days, they keep challenging the when we go for a talk, they say, hey, this marijuana is fine, it's a natural product and it is legal in many states. Why India didn't make it legal? Why they are still, trying to struggle? So these are kind of, because they are more, informed about, because they search. We have a clients, I tell you, one incident like where this 22-year-old guy experimented every drug after Googling it about it. So he just want to know how it works for him, you
Right.
know. So this kind of adventure seeking children we have these days, in a wrong way for that matter. But that is where we need to do that, the fact information need to be given to the child, so that at least a majority of the percentage of children know what they are doing, what they are getting into, and what is at stake.
Absolutely.
Another thing, when we are talking about the facts, we also talk about the legal implication, because
Yes.
most of the children doesn't know, okay, if I'm caught with this, what is going to be, at stake, my career. They say that, especially the college children, when they get booked in an NDPS case, they
Mm.
come and say, no, we never thought, we were just having fun, it was only one time. But that one time, how much a heavy price you're going to pay. A lot of people had to cancel their visa for their further education in abroad. And when this case is there, our judiciary system, it will take, ages for them to get the kind of verdict. So they have to battle. It's a trauma for the family also, and it's just for a fun. Where it can put you into is what they need to understand. How, if the law is taken, and you are under the scrutiny, what is that price you're going to pay? And many people also like, oh, I was selected by the top firms. Now PCC, police verification, is like a mandatory for every employee. So when we are doing it for class 4, even our maids at home, so it is mandatory. And this case will be, because it's a centralized data.
Yes.
So we are in that era where anything, whatever you go with any government department, all
Mm.
your data is there, stored, and it reflects whenever somebody is inquiring about you. So this is all at stake, which the child or adolescent is not aware. So these are the facts. So this is something on a practical and realistic sense we do. Apart from that, understanding how much risk it is to take a substance, even for fun, how
Right.
much it is affecting your brain. And because the child's brain is evolving, the fact again is, under 25 years, your brain is not completely developed. What is going to happen when you are, disturbing that developing brain? How much cognitive abilities are at stake? So
Yes.
that understanding will help them to make, it is not going to be a serious talk as such, like how I'm explaining you, but it will be mostly in a form of case studies, or,
Mm.
the stories,
Yes.
uh, this kind of thing which we will be doing. And what about the coping skills? Because you see, again, this generation kids,
Mm.
low frustration tolerance.
Yes.
They cannot take no as an answer. They want immediate results. So all these aspects, unable to cope up even for a no. And you are seeing a lot of suicides after the exams, because they don't know, they are not able to accept themselves, low
Yes.
self-esteem. So we work on these things.
Great.
Something, you fall down, how you have to be resilient, how you have to come back,
Yes.
what are your core,
Mm.
potential you have, identify that. We have lot of girl children cases where they have a low self-esteem, especially, I would say all the cases are so depressing even to talk about,
Yes.
but that becomes a prominent thing. There was one girl, you just don't believe, looking at her, she's so beautiful, her hair is so silky, but she suffered with that low self-esteem, unloved all the time. And she got into the substances because she felt this is a way out for her.
Right.
And never loved herself. But if you
Mm.
just look into externally, I said, like, you are so beautiful. She says, no, I don't think I am, because that's a kind of, the
Mm.
negative self-image the child has.
Yes.
Where all this is coming, because again, you see the communication problem. If you, whenever we get a case, we start going into the crux of the issue, then you start seeing that, oh,
Mm.
from where it all started from childhood, that there is a link missing, with the parent.
Yes.
Communication is unhealthy all the time.
Yes.
and the expectations about each other is mismatching, and this kind of age where everybody became a money making machine, where very less time they have, and
Absolutely.
schools are so obsessed about completing the syllabus and other competitions and all that.
Yes.
So the child is definitely lost.
Mm.
And another aspect here comes as a peer influence.
Yes.
So they get into the peer
Mm.
where they pressurize, most of the time, you never know if they are lucky, they get into a good company, but most of the time,
Yes.
any quick solution comes with any, lot of vices in the world. So
Absolutely.
this is something, where they get into this peer pressure
Mm.
because they feel this is a way out.
Yep.
And this wrong company is where lot of learning happens and imitation happens. And I would also say that nowadays media, I would say post-COVID, the OTT has a greatest role to play for a child to pick up all these things, and the smartphones in the hands, where the globally they are. See, it's done good, but more than good, the harm is seems to be more now.
I think just
We
today
are
I read in the reports that I think around 18 OTT I think channels have been banned because of the kind of content they were. So
Yes, yes, the content, it's very difficult for a parent to also monitor it on a regular basis, because how many parental controls and how many devices you're going to put and keep on monitoring. And
correct.
the child these days at age of 5, they know coding, they're not like us, you have to be digitally literate. So what these are the things which we are trying to work on, when we address the children. It's not directly we talk about the substance use as such, but we go into the what are the risk factors, what are the protective factors, why you need to understand. So like for example, risk factors is your temperament, you don't know how to deal with your emotions, how
Yes.
can it put you into this kind of path,
True.
and how your personality, certain traits like discipline, hard work, if they are missing in your life.
Yes.
For example, when I go to school, we'll say that how many of you want to be a successful person. So
Mm.
everyone wants to be a successful. They'll raise hands. Okay, if you want to be a successful person, tell me 10 traits which are required for you. Everyone will write. I need to be sincere, honest, hardworking. All these kind of they just gave. We make them as a group and okay, you just do present.
Mm.
What is that? How many do you think you have?
Yeah.
I think I have two or three. Do you think other seven is it difficult for you to acquire? No,
Yeah.
no, no. It is easy. Only thing is I have to focus, and then uh,
Yes.
it's easy for anybody to be disciplined and all. So
Absolutely.
why I'm making them do that is okay. Suppose the something called substance come into your life. Do you think these traits will have any room for that? I start smoking tobacco,
Yeah.
take alcohol. What is going to happen to my honesty? What is going to happen to my hard work or
Yes.
a discipline? Everything will go for a toss. So, this is the way it's just like example I'm trying to tell you so that people will understand.
Mm.
This is a way we communicate. We involve the child to be part of that particular sensitization program. It's not just dumping them with a lot of information or the slides, but engaging them, giving them certain kind of assignments or
Mm.
the kind of activity based where okay even for some time case studies, suppose you see a child, your friend being bullied by something, what is that you're going to do? Or or somebody offered you, somebody you saw smoking in a campus, what is that you're going to do? So obviously they are exposed these kind of incident situations, but when you put them on a spot, they
Mm.
start thinking,
Yep.
certain kind of values, they start, reconsidering in themselves. So
Mm.
this is a way we are, trying to reach out the message to the audience. So that is something which we are giving it a try.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Devika. I think the context also is the fact that just a week back, we had Prime Minister Modi giving out awards to the content creators for across India, right? I think around 22, 23 categories were there. And Where this came from, Devika, is that Shraddha Jain, I use Shraddha, one of the humorous woman content creator, most creative female. She's won that award, and I wrote a small post on LinkedIn for her, and she commented. And while I was going through the speech of Prime Minister Modi, there was a special mention, and he was requesting the content creators to write more content and highlight the negative effects of drugs on the youth, which just means that this problem is not just specific to cities or villages. It's actually spread across India. It's gone to the attention of the Prime Minister himself. So thanks a lot for the detailed explanation you gave for the first question, because this really is eye-opening for a lot of parents, Devika. Moving on to the another question on the impact of drugs on youth. What are the common places where the school-going or the college-going youth procure these drugs easily, Devika?
So again, whenever we interview, the children who are, caught with this problem or identified and are brought here. So especially me, I just don't confine to my job of taking case history and, giving them, oh, what is that you can do and not.
Right.
But also to understand, like as you said just now, the PM Modi has changed the way we need to deal with this problem into 2021. I remember there is a three-pronged approach we talk about, like, the supply reduction part is what the law enforcement agencies are taking care of, like NCB, Enforcement Director, Customs, Excise, and all that. But there is something called demand reduction approach. So if you see in my profile, again, we were trained by UNODC about, how to do this demand reduction. This is where a lot of population, like, the supply is there where there is a demand. So it is again economics here. So what we are trying to do here is a lot of sensitization, awareness campaigns. It's like, everyone who is associated with a child or a community, because we all are interlinked with, intertwined, interconnected. So we all are stakeholders to make our community better, especially in this context of making it drug free. Because if the drug is there, it doesn't stop with a person using substance and then, lying in a hospital or getting treatment, but it is creating a havoc in our society. The crime rate is high. And there is, if you see 50% of our population is young, and if this percent of population, it means you are losing a generation of productivity, growth. And you can see the states, like, for example, I think most of the people have taken Punjab as a case study here. If one state has gone to this drug, one generation, what is going to happen? Where is the growth? And it's going to be a big menace. If you see the families, the way they suffer. And I would tell, there is a child of 11th grade, uh, at the distress call the parent has to make, because the father was not available. This boy was using substance. Mother tried to stop. He hit her. He hit the child, sister. And then he was under intoxicated state. And they mimicked the psychotic features. They felt he became maniac, aggressive, because he was under intoxicated state with this, party drugs. So they just locked themselves in the room, and then they were making a distress call. And in the mid of the night, the cops had to come take him to the juvenile. There's so much of trauma. And the whole, it is a gated community. Everybody was like, oh, who's come? The cops have come, and it's a lot of humiliation they had to go.
Yes.
It's a traumatic experience for the whole family, I would say.
Yes.
So we need to understand here, this just doesn't stop with person using substance, or it is not confined to that particular person, but
Yes.
it affects the whole community. I'm talking about a rich kid.
Yeah.
I'll also talk about an incident where this boy, he's a street child,
Mm.
and he was like inhaler addict. So suddenly he got into that craving of the substance. In the morning, he got up and he was, begging for 10-15 rupees to, the morning walkers. When
Right.
the old man refused to give, he had a blade. He slit the throat of the old man, because they was just like, hey, just get away from me kind of thing. So he
Right.
could take that humiliation. Then he didn't knew what he was doing. He
Mhm.
slit the throat, checked his pockets for the money. He failed to understand for morning walk, nobody brings the money. And he found an ATM card, but he doesn't know the PIN and all. So he was ultimately caught and put in a juvenile home. If you just enter a juvenile home, you see a lot of children, and 90% of the cases where some or the other way under intoxicated state,
Yeah,
that's a kind of a plight of those children where they don't get accessibility to the treatment also. So you see, the problem doesn't lie with an individual, but it is going to spread in the society in such a way, in a community, like everybody has to suffer. So here, when we are talking about approach, everyone has to be a stakeholder in order to address this issue and see that if I am healthy, my family is healthy, my community is healthy, that is where the growth is. So it is directly proportional, is what we need to understand here.
absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Um, in terms of, we have spoken about the kind of impact it has on youth, not just on them, but the family is also impacted very negatively once they're actually caught. And you did a brief in terms of the kind of de-addiction programs you actually do. What happens in the case of relapse? I mean, the thing is, they've gone through de-addiction, but they're tempted to go back to the way before. Do you find such cases also, Dr. Devi?
Yes, yes, because see, we need to also understand, if you're talking about this disease addiction, then it's a relapse prone, like any other chronic diseases like diabetes or heart or any disease for that matter. You don't follow a protocol or a treatment regime which is given to you, the
Yeah,
people are tend to get back into the disease. So
right.
here, when relapse happens, most of the time, if you look into, there are triggering factors. Seeing the old places where they have used, we call them slippery places, slippery situations, slippery, people they meet.
Yeah.
Most of the people say that once they come back, after the relapse, they'll say that, oh, I never thought, I had an intention to just go and sit with him in the bar. I didn't had intention to drink, but it just happened because your memory cues are there and it is going to force. There is internal, the pressure is built. So where you put yourself into the option reduction stage where you feel that, oh, I need to compel your
Mm.
emotional state, you don't know how to tackle with your emotions, navigate them, understand them. Like, for example, anger, depression, anxiety. So these can again put you in a kind of a situation where you feel, oh, I have no other choice than, to take substance. And there are certain kind of conflicts, you don't know how to end it, or problems you have created during your substance use. You haven't learned a skill to deal with a problem situation. So we again say that in all the awareness campaigns, there are 3 P's we need to remember. One is pleasure a person uses. Again, a pressure, it is peer influence, peer pressure, or kind of pressures in your life, and the problem situation. 3 P's. So you have to learn how to deal with these things. Like, even when we talk about the sensitization, oh, pleasure, what are the 1001 ways of having a positive pleasure or a positive addictions, we call it as,
Yes.
what are that ways I can go for a number of things I can do. I can hike, I can enjoy the nature, good food, whatever it is, but I need to find a healthy ways to
Mm.
deal with my pleasure, but not the unhealthy way too. So these are the ways we educate. So this is something which we also teach in, relapse prevention program. And
Mm.
again, when you were asking about what is a treatment regime, it just doesn't start with a person suffering. And see, there are 3 levels of prevention, we call it as. Primary level is where we are doing lot of sensitive health promotion, and prevention is what we do in the first level. It means you are targeting an audience who haven't been to this exposure to this substance,
Mm.
but they are vulnerable, like children.
Right.
So these are the population where you sensitize them. You tell them about the positive, negative impact of it, or what are what are everything is at stake in your life because of this. That is what we do in a first level. The second level is, yes, you have been using on and off, but you haven't been dependent on it yet. So the early identification is what we will do. So when you do early identification, what you do is you try to do an intensive outpatient, like screen, assess, and understand what is making him to get into it and work on those factors so that, he will try to come back without more damages. Now they can still be functionally back to the society. The third level is where you see lot of, the negative consequences like legal problems, given up education, lot of relationship issues, mental health issues, physical body has an effect. With all these things, there is a disability control you are doing, damage control you are doing. You are trying to retain what is left in him and try to rebuild certain skills so that he can go back and make his living. And it just doesn't end with the inpatient treatment here, or we call rehabilitation here. This is the long-term treatment in third level.
Right.
And it takes a lot of time and there is no guarantee. And at the same time, there is a hope, I would say. And there is something called aftercare. This is what the minimum standards provided by our government says, that aftercare is important. 2 years of follow-up with the client is important. And with the family, we need to have, periodical review of client's progress.
Yes.
And there are certain fellowships are there, like Alcoholic Anonymous, Narcotic Anonymous, where we try to make them as a community level participation, we call it as. So this is a whole continuum of care where, the journey starts here, and everywhere you have a role to play. And in inpatient, you have a major role to play as a therapist, like understanding his addiction, motivating him further, enhancing his motivation levels, cognitive therapy. Lot of scientific evidence-based therapies are available right now. So which can help a person to get better and become a mentor for a lot of other people also here.
Absolutely. Okay. One question as a parent I have, and I'm pretty sure a lot of my friends, we have school-going children and maybe college-going children. What are the symptoms that we can actually see as parents to identify that our children have just started taking substance? Are there any clear-cut indicators that will help us a lot?
Yes. This is something which I never miss to talk whenever I'm addressing the parent community and teaching community also. Whenever you see, your child very well, how they are, progressing. Suddenly you see the child is disturbed emotionally. There are upheavals in their emotional state. Most of the people or parents tend to take it as maybe it's a hormonal because of puberty and all. There is a lot of emotional disturbance in the child. Temperament is, levels are always high. And there is no, they decline the communication with the family members, and they don't maintain eye contact. Mostly they are in the gadget, or you see the unkempt, they are not dressed properly, or they don't keep the environment clean. Something is wrong with the child. I wouldn't say it is just substance, but definitely that is a time where you need to pull up yourself and say something is not okay with the child. There is a decline of interest in their favorite activities like music or a play. They just want to confine themselves in the room, lock themselves, or they come and they don't wish, or they don't want to sit with you and eat, which is, these are early signs where. And the serious signs are like redness of eyes are there. Uh, and they don't like light, and they play music very loud. So these are certain drugs will make them, do it. And when they are sitting apathetic, it means they're emotionless, where you see as if you're, talking to a stone, or, you're seeing through that person. So that is very scary, because most of the cannabis users, that is the way they, exhibit themselves.
Right.
So you need to, and also the parents have to keep on vigilant, looking at, if they are smoking, the weird smell. It's not just tobacco smell, something where you get a headache. You need to understand that something is wrong, check on their things. Yeah, privacy is important, but at the same time, never be sorry, by not checking on, the earliest, because most of the parents, when they join them in a rehab comes as a third level of prevention. It means you have done all your, ways to control him, punish him, all these things you have tried, pleading him, begging him, manipulating, trading with him and all.
Right.
Everything has failed. That's where they reach. At that time, when we asked, did you see a powder? Did you see leaf kind of thing? Did, check this, anything? There is a child who was keeping all the stuff in the guitar, the hole. So
Right.
he was like, kind of plastering it. Yeah. So it was like, and he said in the rehab, no, I love my guitar. Then mother would just, she gave info. He stopped playing it for almost 1 year. Why he's so obsessed about it now? Then we had to literally check and then say that, yes, that is, he's been using,
Yeah.
because for them, every pleasurable activity is taken over by the, hijacked by the substance here.
Yes.
So parents need to understand before moving on to the punitive attitude, just be alert, vigilant, and watch the symptoms. There is a change of the circle. The girl case I was talking about, suddenly parents notice she's moving with the elder children, not her classmates, and she's spending more time with them. She's not introducing those people to the parents. So that itself is something alarming you need to understand. So you need to be watchful. I'm not saying you need to be a helicopter parent and all, but
Yeah.
yes, somewhere we need to have that, kind of or draw a line, not to go overboard and then do something, which hurts the child, but at least being vigilant is important. You can't start all of a sudden when you just give a gadget. Setting rules is important. House rules are important. So I see a lot of parents when they come to the sessions, they say, no, 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 because we are not available. That guilt will make them,
Yeah.
just give that kind of liberty to the child where the
Yeah.
child is using it in a wrong way.
Yes.
So please understand that, you are doing anything that should benefit a child, but that shouldn't have a boomerang effect on your
Yes.
later stage. You shouldn't be repenting it. So the house rules uh, are to be very strict, and the parents have to follow it first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think
Yeah.
with the kind of professions where we are into, especially the people who work in the IT sector, both of us, like me and my wife, both of us actually work. Where's the time for us? I mean, we go in the morning around 8:30, come back in the night 8:30, and the children are by themselves, and there's no time to even observe. In my case, what happened was I came out of the corporate and started my own business. That's when I was able to spend some time, understand my own kids. Otherwise, 12, 14 hours to work in the corporate, there's no time at all. And it's not just my case. It's case of every IT
Yeah.
parent, and all the aspirants are there. The wives also want to work. The guys also have to work to really make it work properly. Nothing wrong with the aspirations, but I think when it comes to substance abuse as such, right? I mean, I very, very clearly see the role of the parents to spend time with the children to understand. So very, very valid points. And before I ask you the last question, I really want to appreciate the kind of work you're doing, Dr. Devika. This is not a posh IT job where you get 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs a month. But it's something which you're very, very passionate about. You got a degree, you got a lot of certifications. It's very difficult to work with the government as well. I understand a lot of bureaucracy over there, but you don't give up because there's a passion for the society. So all of the parents across there who are watching it are very grateful to you, Dr. Devika. Thanks so much for that. Finally, the question is, who have been the largest influencers for you, professionally as well as personally, Dr. Devika?
I would say I was never destined to be in this field. This is not my choice, Ravi, again, but I always want to have a comfortable job, go abroad, work, make money, and, just to, compensate that I want to take care of poor children was my agenda, way back in 2000.
Right.
But yeah, destiny had something for me. And because I come from a background where everything is like, kind of a family background where my mom is not well educated. My
Right.
dad, of course, he said, whatever you want to do, you do, and all that.
Right.
But there was a time when my mentor, when I just got into the platform just to prove one of the trait in me. Somebody challenges, oh, you can't, a woman cannot be in this field,
Yeah.
You just 2000 is like a lot of stigma associated.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can't even go out and say, oh, I'm working with addicts and alcoholics and HIV people,
Yes.
because they don't even come near to you. That was the kind of a stage where I chose to get into this field. But
Mm.
my mentor said only one thing, that as long as you are here, I was applying abroad universities, and he said, even for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month you work, please put
Mm.
your honesty in this, learn everything, do justice, and then you decide.
Yeah.
And that is where I started reading. I started every client, even today, after 24 years, I say that any new client comes, it's a again, all your abilities are put in test, it's not just you are doing the same work. It's never boring, I would say, but yeah, life threatening. At times you get threats, at times you are praised, you are respected, at the same time you're cursed. So it all comes with the package here, but that he was the one who made me to research, do the research proposal. And once I submitted, then my mom, she is the one who was you know, I could say blessed in disguise. She was put a kind of translator, and my mentor explained, oh, she died the research, she gets selected, she will be in this field forever. I don't know why she said yes, but she said, yeah, I'm happy. Uh, the translator may, I think, messed up, you know. But yeah, she never asked me, oh, it's risky, come back and all. But that was not my mom. She's always scary. Oh, never work with men. Oh, it is very risky job and all. But
Mm.
yes, all that has helped me too. Then my uncle, who actually made me to start up NGO,
Yeah.
he was a big, support system in every way, morally, ethically, in every way. It was like seeing it, oh, I think anything he can handle. That made me to jump into this. And then
Yes.
post marriage, it was like my husband. Even today, he says, every place bureaucracy you are talking about. So I remember, taking my brother, my husband everywhere, wherever I go. And they say,
Mm.
don't worry, nothing comes, it's okay. Use your knowledge as a tool, do whatever you wanted to do. So
Mm.
that kind of support was like really good, where it made me to, get into this journey of 24 years, and it's continuing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, they're all really, I would say, my strength. And my son, he's so proud. So when we in the schools, when we started this safety school club in Hyderabad, in with Cyberabad Commissionerate. So one of the vertical I'm heading is anti-drug abuse vertical.
Right.
Colleges, we started anti-drug abuse committee. So
Mm.
my son was like, always there. He makes videos, songs,
Wow.
and then captions. I don't know. He just become part of this. So yeah, I say that I'm blessed to continue this work and continue this journey, as long as all these people are there to support. So yeah, money was never a criteria so
Yeah.
far. So I'm able to continue all these kind of profiles, because that was never the first thing, I was looking for. So yeah.
Great. 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 Thank you. Thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Devika. I think a lot of parents will bless you today when this is going to go live in a couple of weeks, but I'm going to take out a lot of teasers and put across different social media as such. Yeah, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, sure, sure. The last I wanted to say, even if the parents and their children are watching this, we all need to remember life doesn't rewind. So make the most of it. See that whatever you do, take that evaluative, step, make a right, healthy choice. That is what I tell every child. So it is all in your hands to prevent. What to do after we get into the problem is something which we shouldn't be asking ourselves. And yeah, when lot of information is at our hand, people are there to help us. So yeah, make a meaningful life by choosing all right things in your life, or a healthy things, I would say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for all the insights. And as I said, this video should be out in a couple of weeks, and a lot of teasers for parents will be out in different social media as such. In case I'm pretty sure a lot of requests are going to come from the parents. So after some time, maybe a quarter or 6 months or so, I'll come back to you for another request where we will detail in another topic relevant to the society as such.
Sure, Ravi. I'm always available.
Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Bye, Ravi.